Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Etheria Restart video. So in today's video, guys, I wanted to talk about four SR heroes that I am very interested in investing in here in the near future. Some of you might get excited about that, and others might be upset because it's more SR heroes to level up that you can't right now. But it's okay. Uh, Let me make those mistakes, figure out if they're bad or not yet before you do. So you got time. And the other thing is a couple of these heroes I think are kind of niche. So I really don't think they're interchangeable in a lot of pieces of content for progression. So I don't think you should invest in them early anyway. But I'm targeting them more so now because I want to have some faster runs on my module teams or Inferno teams. And then I also am prioritizing PvP. So that's why I'm kind of interested in these heroes. And another thing that I do want to call out real quick in regards to the SR Lattice stuff. So this Ethereum meetup video came out with the head developer and some content creators. And I haven't seen it yet. I'm planning on watching it, but I've seen some other content creators summarize it, and it seems really exciting. They talk about game economy, which is like the huge thing for us, right? So, uh, yeah, it seems like this was a very positive video. I'm sure not everything in here is what we would want to hear, but it does seem like the developers are listening. Even if it's not as fast as what we want, it does seem like they are trying to make changes to keep us happy. So we always have to keep that in mind. I know the video I put out yesterday was pretty divisive. I didn't want it to be that way. I really didn't. I was just trying to say, like, it's cool that they're introducing new heroes, but at the same time, if we can't fix the things that I see as an issue, not that they should prioritize my concerns, but I think a lot of other people also felt that way. It's just like, let's solve that first, and then we can get excited about new heroes. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that video anymore. Let's talk about the SR heroes that I'm super interested in. So, the first one that I'm really interested in is Dorothy the Wisher. Now, I played this hero during the final beta, but I was just using her as like a crit rate buffer, which in its own right is good. And I'll talk about that in a bit. But the reason why I'm most interested in her is she is one of the few characters in the entire game that does an AoE cleanse. So she can cleanse up to two debuffs on somebody, which is very cool. Um, all in all, there's really not a lot of heroes in the game that do cleanse at all. I think there's like nine, and most of them are either single target or self cleanses. Um, so you have people like Yelly, you've got Sonya, you've got Chiaki, you've got Freya, Lingluo, Doki Doki, Vice does self cleansing, so things like that. But from an AoE perspective, the only ones that I can really see here is basically Lingluo and Dorothy. So I think this adds a lot of value to her. Anyone who's been playing PvP at all, especially real time arena, it's just spamming control units, right? It's Mios everywhere. It's Kazami or Kazuyo the Reverie everywhere, Obels, like all that stuff. And it can get pretty toxic. So, one of the reasons why I like her is, to put her in a bulwark set, bulwark strive or something where she can cut in front and then purify two debuffs off of everybody. And then you just end up like counter nuking. It seems like a lot of fun. Uh, and the other thing that I'm noticing is because I was so heavily invested in PvE that most of my gear is so limited. So whenever I'm trying to build multiple characters for PvP, their gear sets aren't really like min max. Like I'm not 100% crit rate on everything. I'm trying to prioritize crit damage and attack or defense for defensive nukers. Um, so if you end up running a character like Dorothy the Wisher, it it's serving two purposes. You're purifying all of those debuffs, which is the main purpose. But if you don't have the efficiency on your characters, like your damage dealers, or maybe you only have 60% crit rate or something on them, she's going to really amplify your damage without you even taking notice because of that crit rate buff. And then the life leech is quite important in RTA as well. So this skill is the reason why I'm after her, but she also has an instant turn with crit damage up. So if she's one of these heroes that you're running on Bulwark and one of the debuffs don't land, right? Like let's say an Obel or a Kazuya the Reverie doesn't end up sleeping or stunning your counter nuker, like a Yeli or a Deting. You can immediately push them up with the crit damage up, so it's like a guaranteed kill um, on their main threat. So I really like this skill, and then she also has turn meter push for a lot, like a 30% turn meter push is good. So I just really like her kit overall, but the main reason is because she purifies those 2 debuffs. So next up, we have where is he? I just passed him. Yang. Man, I will tell you right now, I got rocked by a Yang in RTA like 2 times in a row by a user named Caleb. So if you watch my videos, Caleb, good job. You made me a believer in this character, like for real. So Caleb ran Yang on Revelation. I think everyone knows who's played PvP that Revelation is busted in that kind of game mode. It's kind of a problem, but you gotta play what cards are kind of dealt to you, right? So Yang has a 6 hitter. So if anyone knows, if you crit, uh, Revelation procs off of the amount of hits. So Freya abuses Revelation with her 4 hitter. So you can imagine how hard Yang hits on a 6 hitter with Revelation. It's quite nasty. He can literally one shot anything. I truly believe that he can one shot like a Tiamat that's on Bloodbath. I really think it could happen. Um, so yeah, I like him purely for that reason. But something that also goes under the radar is he does really big turn meter pushes. So another thing that's quite awesome in RTA is if you have a turn meter booster like a Tsukiyomi or a Lily with her twin trick and you push Yang up to the front and you take out one of their main threats, while you're doing that, you're also pushing the rest of your team to possibly cut in front as well. It's kind of a super underrated character. I have slept on this character, I think, for way too long. Obviously, people like Caleb are ahead of the curve. Uh, so it's really cool. But he can also dispel buffs, which is another important thing. There is plenty of bulwark and immunity in RTA, rightfully so. I think you need it. So if you're able to turn meter push one of your characters up to the front with Yang while also dispelling, even if you didn't kill that character, which you probably should, uh, yeah, you have the ability to now control them or turn meter pushback or anything like that. He's also one of those other characters that does crit rate up and attack up. So this is a really unique kind of buff in itself. It's similar to Gray, except Gray just gives the crit rate up, but then Gray gets an extra turn, which is quite good. But the crit rate and attack up really helps build some nice teams in PvE. The 30% is just a crazy way to amplify your damage. I've seen Yang teams in Inferno Doki Doki, utilized with Real Mocha, where Real Mocha is just trying to crush each wave in one shot, and you just stack a bunch of crit damage. You run Real Mocha on count to get the attack boost because it's for 2 turns. So each wave, your count proc is still available, but Yang is the one who kind of introduced that. The thing with using Lily in Doki Doki teams is Lily does not provide attack up. So you're kind of forced to run something like a Valerian or a uh, or a Freya to give the attack up. But Yang not only gives the attack up, but then allows you to really minimize the amount of crit rate that you need on your Romoka. With the crit rate buff, you only need Romoka to have 55% crit rate, which is really cool. And then again, his skill one is relevant. It gives himself a 15% turn meter boost. So he's looping back around to his turns a lot faster. So I've been very impressed with Yang from a PvP perspective, like as a sniper, because he can utilize revelation. I think you can build him a bit faster and just stack attack and crit rate. And he's going to one shot because he's really abusing the revelation. So that's another character that I'm super interested in. The third character is this Mizuki Mikado. I've really started to get on the train of defense damage dealing heroes, mainly because bulk in RTA is quite important. There's a lot of really strong nukers, and some of the defense, scaling heroes won't be able to survive like a Messiah or a Yelly nuke, but they can certainly withstand some of that annoying uh, control meta because they just have so much bulk. And Mizuki does a couple really nice things too. She's one of the few people, again, that kind of has like an AoE dispel. This is on a 3 turn, which is really nice. And she gives herself and the rest of the team defense up. So she's amplifying her own damage because she scales off of defense. Her multipliers are also really strong. She's a freer version of Holden in a sense because she also has counterattack on her passive, but she also brings wound. So there's a lot of healing in RTA, whether it's Sonya, whether it's Ling Luo. You also have Lighthouse, Bloodbath Lighthouse, shell passives, procking and stuff like that. So wound is quite relevant in RTA, and the fact that this has a 100% chance to land it means you don't need a whole lot of effect accuracy because the proc chance is already extremely high. And then her skill one also has a dispel and has a 300% multiplier. This is big. So I think you build her with a bunch of crit rate, crit damage, and she is just a menace. Like you don't want to attack her because this is a guaranteed counterattack. Where with Holden, you have to build more defense to increase his counterattack rate. This character will 100% always crit. You can also skill up her skill where she starts with the retaliation for 2 turns. So she's going to get a bunch of counterattacks. So her as your main damage dealer, I think a lot of people won't see that pick coming in RTA. Now, when it comes to like PVE, I don't know if she's really useful anywhere. She might be pretty solid in Terramaton, in all honesty, just because of the counter attacking as like a sub DPS to kind of chip away at Terramaton, which wouldn't be bad. The wound really doesn't do anything there, but dispelling his defense up and his immunity could be quite good. All right, now last one is Dorothy. Now I have poo-pooed on Dorothy before. And I don't know if she's good. I really don't. But she is another one of those heroes that does a cleanse. And this is a full cleanse. So there are a couple places in the game where you run into like DOT bosses like Sharon, where they throw up tons of uh, dots on your character. So Dorothy can fully cleanse that off of one of your heroes, which I think is pretty useful in its own right. And then she has this heal over time. The reason why I'm kind of interested in Dorothy is not just because of the cleanse, but because she has this heal over time up and she scales off of attack. So I'm more interested in her being like a part of a high damage dealing speed run. And this is all theory, by the way. This is the character that I expect to be terrible the most, but I'm still interested in her because it's such an interesting character. Like having a heal over time based on her attack is pretty cool. Uh, so ideally, you're trying to get her up to like 4,000 attack, and everyone will have 3 turns of a 4,000 heal if you can get your Dorothy up to that mark. She also then has that really big heal with the purifying all debuffs, and then she also has just a pretty decent heal on her skill 1. So she heals a lot, but bringing the full, cleanse along with this big heal over time for 3 turns on a 3-turn cooldown, which means it's always up, especially if you extend it as well with Ling Luo, or with, like, Kachi the Guard. One of the things I'm most interested in is if you can extend the buff on this Casket's Remedy with a Ling Luo, if then you loop back around to it on your, 3rd turn, if it creates 2 stacks. I'm super interested in that, because if you find a way to have 2 of these up and you're healing 8,000 HP every turn with your, buff extenders, I think that's pretty cool. So anyway, I just wanted to bring out a video of things that I kind of just like think about randomly with this game, where I look at heroes and like, oh, this could be really cool. This could be interesting, and just kind of theory craft with you guys. So I don't know if you like these kind of videos, if you want to see things in action more so than me just talking about them. But anyway, I don't have the resources yet, but once I do, I'm going to start building up those characters and releasing videos on them. So anyway, that's all I got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.